While we have already spoken about it, today we will revise or refresh some knowledges on this topic, and then we will speak about transgenosis, about the types of gene therapy, transgenic animals, definition of cloning and approaches of cloning, and a few remaining words about the stem cell research. So the first, what is important and to learn here and to learn in the development world is a nanotechnology, sometimes shortened to nanotech. And you already can start to write down the lecture. Nanotechnology is the study of manipulating matter on atomic and molecular scale. And today we will speak with you about the issues related to the nanotechnology only. Nanotechnology deals with structure sizes between 1 to 100 nanometers in at least one dimension. And it involves developing materials of devices of the same size, which are also from 1 to 100 nanometers in length or in width and so on. Who can remind me what is a nanometer? Is anybody remember about it? What does it mean, nanometer? Is which part of the meter is this?
We have millimeter.
We have millimeter, we have micrometer, and we have nanometer.
Yeah.
What is the difference? Do you remember? Just to imagine, I would like you to remind this now, just to imagine what sizes we are dealing with today.
Nanometer, teacher,
Yes.
just seeing under microscope.
It cannot be seen under the microscope, this is right, under the light microscope, and this is dimension which is 10 minus 9 meter. This is 1 billionth part of the meter. And if you remember, I'm not sure that you remember, DNA width is only how many? Do you remember how many is the DNA width? 2 nanometers.
Yes,
DNA width is the 2 nanometers only. And the results and the application of nanotechnology is in the interim, not only, but in the interim used in nanopharmacy. It involves the preparation and delivery of pharmaceuticals or therapeutic substances in the molecular and nanometric size range to the desired site of action in the human body without affecting healthy organs and tissues. And as you can see, nanopharmacy may have solutions for preventing, diagnosing, and treating human diseases based on understanding of the cell. We studied with you a lot about the cell biology, about general biology, and without understanding of the cell structure, of some processes which happen in the cell, we cannot deal with neither nanopharmacy, neither nanotechnology or nanomedicine. Molecular biotechnology, this is the tool, this is the instrument, is discipline that is based on the ability of researcher to transfer specific units of genetic information from one organism to another. And this is the approach which is used to create the products which then in turn can be used for the nanomedicine and nanopharmacy. And molecular biotechnology, as you see, relies on the techniques of genetic engineering, recombinant DNA technology. And this is important, and you should write it down: transgenosis, experimental transferring of genes to another genome. We have already spoken about this in the previous lecture, and as you can see, plasmid of some bacteria, for example, can be treated so that it consists of the new genes which are taken from another portion of DNA from another living being. And we will remind today how it is done, and then based on this technology we will see all the practical approaches which can be used and already used in the world. And the importance of today's lecture is in that you should understand all of these approaches. You should learn about them, because you are living in the modern world. It's developing very quickly, and after 5-10 years, when you will be a practical specialist, you would be able to distinguish these methods one from another. You should be able to show your knowledge, your awareness of such approaches of modern medicine, because this is the future not just for medicine but for the pharmacy as well. And many pharmaceutical companies in the world work on doing such types of treatments, some types of molecules to treat their humans. And as you remember, and we can write it now again, that the molecular DNA or genetic engineering is based on the restriction digestion, which relied on restriction endonucleases. They are enzymes which are responsible for diplomic cuts at unique DNA sequences, mostly palindromic. As far as you remember, we've spoken about it, but let's remind that from 5 to 3 direction, GAATTC is read, and again from 5 to 3 direction, we are seeing the same sequence, GAATTC. And the restriction endonucleases are looking for such types of sequences in our genome, and they are able to cut the DNA cleave them at these sequences, producing, for example, sticky ends. And here, if we applied the same type of endonuclease and it cut our DNA, for example, this is the, let's say, we will say now what could it be, it's interesting, and these are two different organisms, and then we can splice them together and receive such type of genetic combination. Do you know what is the first genetically modified food ever appeared in the supermarkets? Do you know? Can you imagine what is the first genetically modified food which you probably consume every day? Who can tell me?
Right.
This is the tomato with the gene of jellyfish. Yeah, jellyfish. Yes. This is, for example, the jellyfish, and this is the tomato. We will see later what was the meta of scientists to splice, to combine these two different organisms. Because of jellyfish, you know, it's never shrinking. It always has some turgor, and it always keeps its shape. While, for example, tomato can be shrinken while transported, while being frozen, and so on. And after splicing the jellyfish and tomato, this tomato will be always nice and will have nice texture, nice everything, and you will buy it much more faster than in the case when it will be shrinking, rotting, and so on. And this is the one small example how plasmid can be used with foreign DNA, and after the splicing, after the intervening this foreign gene into the plasmid, we can then insert it back into the bacteria and clone this bacteria, increase the number of vectors, increase the number of this cloning bacteria, then purify them in culture and use as the genetic material for gene transfer. And these vectors are very useful for gene therapy. And we are writing down that gene therapy is a technique for correcting defective genes responsible for disease development. Yes. And as you can see, gene therapy can be successfully used for treating the brain, breast, lung, heart, upper, small intestine, and liver disorders. For example, on the practical class, we will solve the problems about the liver treatment using the gene therapy approaches. So this is very promising technique. It has its shortcomings, but however it is used successfully in nowadays practice, scientific, and not only scientific but also practical approaches, as a practical approach. Gene therapy. This is practical application of those biotechnology, nanotechnology, which we have spoken just now. And how to correct faulty gene. We should write one by one, slowly, but these approaches should be written down. Normal gene may be inserted into non-specific location within the genome to replace a non-functional gene. This approach is the most common, and we will see it now. An abnormal gene could be swapped for normal genes through homologous recombination, but it is not, it should be done very precisely, and it is not very easy to be performed. That's why it's not done very often. The abnormal gene could be repaired through selective reverse mutation, which returns the gene to its normal function. And it's also very tiny, very specific technique, so that's why it is done only in some specific cases. And the fourth, no comments, Samia. Вообще это первый раз такое, speaking in Russian, они даже не опаздывают настолько на I'm sorry, I don't know. We will like solve all issues of the break. No, I can't. Abnormal gene could be repaired through selective reverse mutation, as you can see. And fourth is regulation of the degree of the gene we studied with you before, gene regulation and control of gene activity, and also it could be done artificially in the laboratory when the faulty gene is regulated to don't work very actively. And how does gene therapy work? Carrier molecule called vector must be used to deliver the therapeutic gene to the patient target cell. This is very important and you should write it down. And as you have seen before, while doing the cloning, by means of cloning, we are doing genetically modified plasmids, for example, later they could be used as vectors for transgenosis, for gene transfer. Currently, the most common vector is virus that has been genetically altered to carry normal human DNA. This is common approach, easy approach, but it also has their shortcomings. And the virus genome is manipulated to remove disease-causing genes and insert therapeutic genes. And only after that, this not only, but this is the most common approach, it can be used to deliver some substances into the desired genome. And this is how is it done again when in the whole human genome, for example, of normal copy genes taken, it is found. Again, it is cut and obtained while using the digestion restriction method, then it is inserted into the plasmid, but you see that the level of this insertion is not very high. Only 1 out of 7 plasmid took this gene, and then this one must be cultivated to increase the number of such vectors in culture. And the next point is the target cells, such as the patient liver or lung or others you saw in the previous picture, are infected with the viral vector. When the viral vector, which you have seen before in the picture, is created, then you should transmit it to the target cells. And it is infected by this. The vector then unloads its genetic material containing the therapeutic human gene into the target cell. This is important. Please, target cells such as a patient liver or lung cell are infected with the viral vector. Vector unloads its genetic material containing the therapeutic human gene into the target cell. The generation of functional protein product from the therapeutic gene restores the target cell to a normal state. We are delivering a normal gene now, and this gene starts to work in the cell, and it restores the normal function of the cell. Is it clear?
Yes, yes.
Can we proceed further? Okay, so how does it look like? We injected the virus, which has the desired gene, and it comes to our target cell, and gene with the blood flow, together with the blood flow, this virus brings the gene into the cell of interest. And you see that here. This is how does it work. This is a summary, this is the visualized summary of those that we have just seen. Then the vector with the gene of our interest comes to the target cell, and you see that the gene is delivered into the tissue, but this is only one. Usually they are delivered a lot to restore the function of many cells, and that's why all the tissue, the whole tissue can work as a normal one. And however, we cannot apply gene therapy at any complaint of the human, for example. Requirements for gene therapy application. Condition of the question must be well understood. We should know very good what we should change in our body, what is the reason of this complaint, and how this, for example, sequence of molecular reactions work, and which of this reaction is now followed. And after that, only we can get started with the gene therapy. Underlying faulty gene must be identified and working copy must be available. What is the issue in here? Previously you saw the picture when we cut the genome and we take the portion with the normal gene, so we must be sure that this normal gene is really available. And we can, for example, clone it in culture or obtain it from another healthy human being or from some donor and so on. Specific cells in the body, which we call target cells, must be identified and accessible. Also, we must know how to deliver the gene, the desired gene, into the cells of interest. And means of efficiency delivering working copies of the gene to these cells must be available. Also, we must be sure that the vector we apply is able to bring the desired gene into the interest in the tissue of our interest. So please write down vectors in gene therapy. They are non-viral vectors and viral vectors. Two large groups of vectors in gene therapy are non-viral and viral. And you can see copies of normal human gene, which we just spoken must be available, identified, and so on, could be inserted either into the DNA wrapped in the liposome, which is non-viral approach, or into the virus, which is viral approach in this case. And then introduction into cell of individual with genetic disease. They could be cultured of bone marrow, cells of bone marrow, of lungs, of muscles, liver, and so on. They could be delivered in different cases. So here we will read more, but write, this is mandatory to write at least the names of these viruses. Some of the different types of viruses used as gene therapy vectors. Main viruses, I will ask you on the practical class. And you should answer. What viruses have we used for gene transfer? They are retroviruses. For example, HIV virus is retrovirus. So let's imagine that this is not very safe. And the manipulation must be very exact, very tiny, and everything must be done under high level of control, because then retrovirus by itself is not safe thing to be inserted into the human body. Adenoviruses, they are, for example, viruses which cause common colds in human. Common cold virus is adenovirus. However, it's successfully used to treat mucoviscidosis, and we have spoken about this before, that treated adenoviruses with normal gene are delivered, are sprayed into the nasal passages of the human, and they replace the channel ion protein which works improperly in the nasal mucous membrane, for example, and it works for some time normally, and humans do not experience the symptoms of the mucoviscidosis. Adeno-associated viruses, the third class, they are single-stranded and they are able only to deliver their genes into the chromosome 19 of the human body. And hypersimplex virus, this is common human pathogen, causes cold sores, hypersimplex virus 1. But, however, it is still used. 3 of them are DNA-based viruses. The retrovirus is RNA-based virus, which then promotes the production of the DNA in our body. And this is the example of practical application of the viral body techniques in the Parkinson's disease treatment. And you see that usually it is not very easy to deliver anything into the brain cell while we have hematoencephalic barrier, which prevents delivery. We cannot, for example, make injection into the brain exactly. That's why it's not very easy to deliver any substances into the brain. However, it was done using the virus, which enters brain and delivers gene that prompts the cell to create substance called glutamic acid decarboxylase, or GAD. And these GAD genes are incorporated into the virus. It comes into the brain, and this product, subsequent product, then reduces the symptoms of the Parkinson's disease. Do you know what is the Parkinson's disease? What people experience while having the Parkinson's disease? Have you seen the shaking, the old people with shaking arms, they cannot control the body? This is the example, yes, of the Parkinsonism, of Parkinson's disease. And this is really, it's a pity when somebody of your relatives or hope so that we will not have this disease in our future, but however, some application is possible to treat this disease and by technique of the gene transfer. However, could not be very cheap. And non-viral options of gene delivery. This is the second class, please. Direct introduction of therapeutic DNA into the target cell. The disadvantage of this technique that we should have a lot of DNA copies available to transfer because of the efficiency of delivery is not very high. Direct introduction of therapeutic DNA. Chemically linking the DNA, chemically linking to the DNA to a molecule that will bind to special gene receptors. I have tried yesterday to find the picture, however it was not very easy, so try to imagine that some oligonucleotides